It's howdy doody time. It's 5 o'clock. So we're here with our live at 5. See if I can bring in my other areas. Make sure everybody is here. Make sure everybody's here and ready. I think I may have to edit Instagram, but let's go ahead and see about that. There we go. Try it again. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Hope you've had a good weekend. Had a little bit of time to do some prepping for the week in the market. I am convinced, fully persuaded, as they say. I am fully persuaded. Yeah, I did say howdy doody. Fully persuaded that success in the market is based on the time and the study that you do outside of the market. There are lots of people, sometimes even me, who tries to do the work while the market is running and popping, and that's not the time to really do the work. That's really the time to execute work you have previously set up to do. It's not the time to go do the work. All right. I'm completely convinced of that. Let me go here, make sure I'm live on Instagram, and I'm live on YouTube. I'm live on Facebook. I'm live on Twitter. Yes. Good evening, everybody. As they say, we have a good show for you this evening. It's not really a show, but we do have some stuff to share with you this evening. Lots and lots to do. Okay, so this weekend has been kind of a somewhat busy one as far as prepping. I was watching some videos on pivot points. I was looking back at my previous trades. I was assessing my mindset while I was taking those trades. I was fussing at myself about how I let a green trade go red, basically my ENPH. If you get my emails, you probably saw this, but my ENPH trade had drawn down to the premiums, not quite where I wanted it to, but it was in profit. And I said it was Wednesday, and I was like, oh, I'll give it one more day. And tomorrow I'll let Theta, help me one more night. And then when Thursday opened up with the retail sales, it basically popped gap. And there went my trade. So my good green trade winning. And I was like, well, now that, we're on Thursday and I just need to see what's so 2 days actually went past it. Thursday, it went past my strike, which was a call credit spread. And then Friday, it did come back below. It did draw. PH likes to hold on to premiums. By the end of the day, my trade was like 115.30, 115.60, 115. It was kind of dancing. I was like, well, maybe it'll kind of be below 115 at the end of the day. And by the time complete breach, say you were in striking distance on Wednesday and you chose to let it go to Thursday morning to, one more day, one more night. And this is what you get. So like I said, included talking to myself about why and when, because I've determined too that I was going to close my trades at 50%. And then last week I decided, well, maybe I'll go back to 70%. And if I had closed it at 50%, that trade would have been done. Anyway, everybody has to have these times when you go back and reassess, how did your trades go? Did they go well? Did they not go well? If they didn't go well, why didn't they go well? And what was it? Was it something that you had absolutely no control over? Or did you have control over and you didn't make a move? So in my case, I didn't have control over the gap up, but I did have control over closing that trade on Wednesday, and I did. So yeah, that was me. That was my talk about me. But that's what happened over the weekend. You have to process these things over the weekend. look at what's coming up. I did some scanning and looking at some other trade ideas. I put together our list. I mean, I do all the things. I also created some. I've determined that the creativity in my life, I have to have that creative avenue. I have to have that creative avenue. So I created some things in my for my Etsy shop. For those who don't know it, I have an Etsy shop. I am an Etsy creator. You can use the link bit.ly dash MELINS for Melanin Inspirations is the name of my Etsy shop. And I create stuff over there. And that I've determined for a long time I wasn't creating things. But I didn't realize I forgot really that I needed that creative outlet. I have to have, seems to be that I have to have that for myself. Good evening, Stacy. Good evening, Ward. Good evening, Tanya. And good evening, Jamie. Hey, Adrian. How you doing, girlfriend? Howdy doody. Oh, Jamie told me to quit saying howdy doody. Hi there. Hi there. Hey there. Ho there. That's from Stuart Little, for those of you who are too young for that show or that movie. I think it was a movie. Stuart Little. Okay, let's talk about what happened last week in the market. Let's look at the market. Hey, Marsha. We're live on here, on this here internet. We are live. Okay, there we go. Ooh, you got to remember where your stuff is, Arlissa, so we can do this in a timely fashion. This is SPX. SPX on the daily chart. Right, we've been green a few days, back into bullishness, back into the bullish, characteristics. We are here. That gap is not fully filled there. This one is fully filled though. Nope. There we go. There we go. This actually can move to over here. We can use it for another gap. This is the quartiles that basically let you know that partway through the gap, those levels, 25, 50, 75% are probably going to provide, most likely will provide support and resistance as that gap is going to be filled. So we got our pivot point here at the 52, looks like 52.28, somewhere in there. There's also some resistance in here, support now because price has passed it. There's another resistance here following with our moving averages, and another gap is here that we need to identify. But for the week of last week, SPX basically was bullish. Now, CPI, PPI, retail sales, all those things provided a good bolstering. I guess everybody liked the numbers, liked what they were hearing. And off they went, right? The Mickey Mouse Club. Mickey Mouse, did they say that too at Mickey Mouse Club? Hey, Janae. Hey, girl. Are you subscribed to Mancini's group? To his, what do you mean his group? Do his Twitter feeds? I'm not sure what you mean by group. Maybe tell me a little bit more. I'm probably going to say, no, I don't know that he has a group. I wouldn't say that I'm subscribed. No. Anyway, SPX had a nice little run up for the past couple of weeks, actually, but it is coming into some more resistance in the 55, 60, 66 area, and then the bottom of that gap, which will be 56.09. If we put it on the weekly chart, we can see the strong, weekly resistance is stronger than dailies. And from a weekly standpoint, our resistance would really be up in the 56.09 and at the top of this big old red candle, 56.36. If you're looking on the weekly chart, you're going to see resistance really more so up in that area. I don't think the line shows is going to show a nope. Right up here, right where the gap starts, 56.14, somewhere in there. Because right in here, I was thinking that little area was going to provide a chair, but it did not. There's no chair here. Okay. That's really where we are with SPX. SPY is going to look very similar. So we don't need to go look there. This is triple Q. Probably going to have a very similar look as well because they all look alike though. And that's because, tech is a big, heavy part of SPX. That's how that is. This is a weekly chart. Resistance here though is at 479 because you do have a chair, a place where it's sat down and kind of chilled out a little bit around 479. That will provide some good strong resistance on the weekly chart. We've got a 2 up on triple Q on the week. What does the month look like on triple Q? Ooh, look at that long wick for the month. Woo, can you say hammer? Can you say hammer? I knew you could. That's a monthly chart. Lordy be. On the monthly chart, our resistance is also going to be at the 479.49 area, and it's currently at 475. So that's about four more dollars. We're going to get up here. Now, this zone does go up as high as 503 because you can see the wick up here. But as far as the body of the candle closing, the body of this candle closed at 471.07. 471.07. All right, there is a gap there that needs to be filled on the monthly. The gap came from the weekly chart, but most likely it's already going in that direction. It'll probably go ahead and fill that gap. All right, that's what happened last week. Anybody think of anything? Hey, Miss Deborah, tell me about the trades you took last week and how the things went for you. You all tell me a good trade, a good positive. We want some good news. I told y'all about my little not so good news. I want to hear some good news about your trades from last week. If you got something big or small that you want to share it in the comments. Yeah, we're family here. We're all family here. Okay, make sure Instagram is still running, and it appears to be so. It appears to be so. This coming week, we've got our earnings is kind of chilling out basically, but we do have earnings still on the horizon. Zim is coming out. Now, Zim is the one we looked at a while back that had, aren't those the shipping people who were giving really good dividends, but then they started wasn't that Zim? They fell all off. And the dividend, they ended up stopped doing the dividends because their price was falling off so bad. Zim is Monday before the open. Estee Lauder Monday before the open, and Freightos is Monday before the open. Palo Alto Networks, I think that's your girls, Nancy Pelosi's. She does that a lot, right? Palo Alto Networks, that is Monday after close. Palo Alto Networks, Fabrinet, Bit Digital, BTBT. Oh, I got a little bit of BTBT left. I was waiting on them to pop with SoundHound. I know they didn't, but Agora, American, Flex Steel looks like. Flex Steel Fluent, Hesai or Hesai, ECD or ECDA. This is an automotive design group. Now the Flex Steel, this is in the industrial space. And the industrial space I think we're in that, not seasonality, but the sector rotation. We're in that sector rotation. Okay. Tuesday. Nope. I don't want this yet. Come on back here. Pushing the buttons and pushing the the pad, and it's jumping around. Okay, so Lowe's is Tuesday morning. Lowe's, Medtronic, Workhorse, Tuesday morning. Who is this one? NMM. I can't see the name of it. Nanox Xpeng is going to be Tuesday morning. VIP.com, Kingsoft Cloud, Futu, and HT World. Toll Brothers, Tuesday after the market closes. DADA, Jack Henry, Lazy Boy, Keysight, SQM. SQM, I think, is that in the tech space? Cody, ZTO is also a shipper courier company. Emerin, they're also Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday morning, we've got Target, Macy's, TJ Maxx, Dicom, Analog Digital, Zeekr, Chemomab. Looks like that's YMM. And of course, I can't see the next one because I put my mouse on top of it. Oh, there we go. GDS. Wednesday after close, Snowflake and Zoom, Wolfspeed, Synopsys, Agilent Technologies, Urban Outfitters, Nordson, Carlisle, MDX Health, and Unified. Thursday morning, we've got Baidu, OSI Systems, Peloton, I really thought Peloton was done with their stocks, but I guess they yet holding on, and they won't let go their faith. Yeah, Peloton still yet holding on. Advanced Auto Parts is Thursday morning. BJ's, Canadian Solar, Weibo, NetEase Games, Viking, and TD Bank. What's this bank popping up in here? Don't the banks like all do together at the beginning? What y'all doing? Just lagging behind TD. Thursday after close, we got Kava. Is Kava the food, people? Isn't that the restaurant that everybody's kind of all the rave? Workday, Bill.com, Intuit, Ross, Red Robin Macro, and American Software. And then Friday morning, we've got GFI and Hafnia. Let's see, did I get... Jamie said all of his PDTX were profitable. He's waiting for side 2 to fill on Monday. Fingers crossed. Tanya said yes. Janae said did one trade for 100. Practice in the sim mainly for SPX with the IV. Won't be in anything this week. You know, you're going to be glad to hear this. I am in the sim. And why am I in the sim? Because I really need to nail down. I need to get laser focused on what I want to, when I want to enter and exit. I need to get a stronger hold on my entries and my exits. So I am in my sim doing that and looking at, several different things, but longer term trades, longer term being a couple of weeks. But you all also know that I'm going back into the classroom on Monday. And because I'm going back into the classroom on Monday, my trading time during the day is going to be quite limited. So I have to make sure that I'm ready. Of course, our selling strategies are great for during the week. You don't have to spend a lot of time looking and watching those, which is really good. And I will continue to use those for sure. But I also want to, fine tuning some other things. So I'm going to do that in the sim. I'm going to do that do all of it in my sim. All right. Morning call. Just now that I'm bringing it up about going back into the classroom next week, our morning call time change. It is going to start on tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to start at 9:30. For those who've been riding with me all summer, thank y'all for riding along with your girl all summer at 8:30 because I was teaching at 10:50. But my first class I'm going to teach tomorrow is at 8 o'clock. I'm teaching from 8 to 9:15. So our call will be at 9:30. All right. Call's going to be at 9:30. I forgot to do something. Let me write myself a quick little note because I needed to write it down now so I don't forget. Promote video of the Trio Max. I didn't send everybody the video of the Trio Max, that little piece of equipment that I put together. Jamie, if you will you go into my YouTube channel and find the Trio Max link and put it in the comments, please? Thank you. Hey, Lisa. Thank you. That Trio Max video where I think it's a short. It's in the shorts. If you could find that and put it in the comments, I'd appreciate it. Oh, anyway, the morning call is going to start tomorrow. It's going to be at 9:30. Lisa's probably going to be glad to hear this because when Lisa comes off work, she doesn't always get to hear us in the morning. She doesn't always get to join us. But the call is going back to 9:30 because of my teaching schedule. Yes, Lisa says, yes. My teaching schedule. Here we go. So last week, this run up, our 3-day run up, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, blew through a lot of the call credit spreads from last week, right? So we did still have 11 of 18 trades were profitable, still a 61% win rate. So listen, these right here, these trades still hold up. Now, everybody has been taught, hopefully, and if you haven't been, you need to go to the website, startwiththechart.com for your charting practice. But we have been looking at how do you identify when, for free charting webinar, when are your trades going to be breached? Is the price action looking like it wants to reverse and save your trade, or what? So now, these are things that you incorporate. You incorporate your candlesticks, right? You incorporate the trend. Maybe you're looking, we've taught them and learned about moving averages. One of the other things that's talked about inside of this startwiththechart.com for the free charting webinar. We've talked about moving averages in there. We've talked about what candlesticks are, reversal patterns and that kind of thing, to help you to know whether or not, if the trend is going in such a way, which last week the trend definitely turned bullish early in the week, and you know you got something on the top, but you're just watching your chart to make sure that is your trade going to be safe or not, right? Is your trade going to be safe or not? This is why my EMPH trade, woosah. You can't ignore the signs. That chart will tell you what it's going to do. It'll tell you what it's doing. And I was, hopium, being, well, I'm just going to hope it comes back. That don't work. Y'all know that don't work. We know. Start with the chart.com. I'm putting it in Instagram so that way you can see. The Instagram doesn't like that straight link. But anyway, last week we had put credit spreads, iron condors, the call credit spread sides on several of these got breached. Win held up, good thing, and Pfizer held up, but all the other call credit spreads did not. Either they were breached or they were partially breached. Either they were fully breached or partially breached. All the call credit spread sides. Okay, so two things I want to say off of this. If you are, doing the iron condor side of our list, and well, I always tell you anyway that when you're doing the iron condors, you need to enter them separately. You enter the put credit spread as prices coming down and reversing. You do the call credit spread as prices going up and reversing. That's the piece. The and reversing is the piece that we work with when we're entering those trades. LL said, I think that's Tiva. I had one successful 0 DTE PCS on SPX and one successful call debit spread on Triple Q last week. Woo-hoo, good job. Good job. Good job. Okay, so when you're entering your credit spreads, where your iron condor, you're entering them at different times. And again, you don't have to enter both sides at all. You can say, okay, I feel like one side of this is going to do what it says, but this other side's looking iffy. You don't have to enter the whole iron condor just because it says iron condor, right? Now iron condors are my friend. Y'all know I like them because they provide double the money. But you definitely don't have to enter both sides. A plus for me, though, kind of a plus. I did have my 1 DTEs breached a couple days last week. I'm still in profit on my 1 DTEs, though, so I'll use that as a plus positive. As a plus positive thing is that my 1 DTE on my equities a couple days still turned out fine. A couple days with the price running and moving, but I came up with something. I came up with a thing that says CPI, PPI, those days, FOMC member speaking before, if what's the man's name? Jerome is going to speak too early in the day, or he's speaking first thing in the morning, then those are the days I won't do 1 DTE. What's the website for him? I don't know. Janae's one who mentioned the Mancini group. Maybe Janae can put the comment in here. I don't know about Mancini's group. Okay, this is our list of trade ideas for the week. We've got some put credit spreads, NEM, the Trade Desk, Verizon, Exxon. If you like any of these, we're gonna go over some charts. So I want y'all to put in the comments which ones you like so we can go through the charts. Call credit spreads. We've got BAC, we've got BP Gas, Delta Airlines, Disney, Oxy. All of those are call credit spreads. And for iron condors, we've got Kroger and Morgan Stanley. Now, these are, let me see, was Morgan Stanley on the list last week? They got breached on one side? It was. Yeah, Morgan Stanley was on the list last week that had the call credit spread side breached. Kroger did its thing last week. At least it was only on the put credit spread list last week. But this week, Kroger is on the neutral list. Now, all of these came from the lower risk. This time, the Peakbot watch list said, I don't know if he has a group. I know he has the newsletter, and I know he has Twitter. I don't know if he has a group, though. So, anyway, what was I saying? I was talking about the trend. Oh, last week, some of these, the ones we had last week, were from the moderate list because the lower risk list was so small, right? So because it was so little, I went and got some of the stocks off of the moderate risk list. Use peakbot.com/watch lists with an S on the end. Hey, Karen. So this week, though, there was enough juice on the lower risk area that all of these trades are on the lower risk area. Okay. All of these trades came from the usepeakbot.com/watch lists. S at the end. And this is where we can go. In Peakbot, we can go here. Now, I take the list, I go to the chart, and I determine what will be the good strikes. Peakbot does provide strikes, but they give you wider spreads than I do. But I don't use their numbers per se. I'm not saying their numbers aren't wrong. I only actually even check their numbers. They may very, very well be accurate. I look for a probability out of the money of at least 75% when I'm finding these strikes. It has to be at least, I partner that with the chart, but I want at least 75% probability out of the money for the sell strike of these. I actually have a video that's going to be posted this evening that's going to walk you through how to use. It's going to walk you through, yes, how do I create this list? It's going to walk through how do I create this list. Which ones do we see we want to go over this week? What do we want to go over? Let me see. I need my list here. What do we see on here that we want to go over? I'm thinking about Exxon. Exxon seems to show up on this list pretty regular. And TTD, the trade desk. Exxon and Oxy, I see Morgan Stanley. Marsha said Morgan Stanley. It's got two things here, 99 and 104 on the call credit spread side. And Exxon, Oxy is on the call credit spread list. Yeah, Verizon don't have enough premiums, to be honest. Janae said I tried Verizon but couldn't get in. We'll consider it again. Not ready for Disney or Exxon or BP. Why not? Why are you not ready for Disney or Exxon or BP? Of course, the reasons are your own. I'm just asking you if there's something we ought to know. How do it know? Is there something we ought to know? Okay, we'll look at those. I got those on our list. Couple things. The 3-day challenge is coming up Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. 3-day challenge for options 411 is coming up Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We're going to look at how do we get paid from the market every single week. Basics of options lingo. What broker, what accounts do you have? That kind of thing. Selling versus buying and options quick start. Like how can we get started quickly? Here's a list of what's actually in it. Basic options lingo. What broker is best for your trading? What kind of account do you need? How do you make money trading? How can the charts help me make more money? And how do I get started quickly? How do you get started quickly? All right. If you're interested in coming on, because you'll need to come on and get registered if you're gonna do this, right? I asked in my YouTube community whether we wanted options 411 or whether we wanted the charting. And the options 411 was the clear winner. We could have went on with charting again, but of course charting is in options 411. But if you're going to register for the challenge, come on. All right. Educated trader, options 411 for newbies. 3-day challenge. Let me grab it as a copy paste so I don't have to type it again over there. And then I should have my Twitter up too. That way I can put comments in the Twitter feed as well. I don't know if the Twitter feed actually shows me the comments, like shows me the See what's there. Oh, please. Looking real quick. Okay. Any other stock charts we're thinking about putting on our list? What else are we putting on our list? Anything else we want to look at? Okay, I see myself, but where is myself? I'm still here, y'all. I promise. I promise I'm still here. Yep, here we go. I can put comments right here. I'm thinking. Yep, we're looking at options 411. Okay, so if you're coming, basically, if you want to come on and join us at options 411 for newbies 3-day training, that's going to be going on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Okay. We won't talk about the E2T membership right now. We'll swing back around. Oh, well, we can talk about it. To be honest, the reason I brought this up is because in the E2T membership, when you're in the membership, you get access to all the stuff that I do. So, for example, you can do the options 411, right? Come to the challenge and all. Being a member of my membership means that you can come to that and all the other stuff. So, joining the membership, E2T, educatortotrader.com. You can go there and sign up for the membership. Again, I take my members everywhere I go. When I go to trainings, I do trainings things. I take the members right along with me. So if you are one of the members, you can join the membership and be able to have access to all the stuff, not just the options 411, but you can come and be in all the stuff. Yeah, you can come join all the stuff. All righty, cool. Now I think I can move forward. We'll talk about freebies when I swing back around. BAC, you want to look at that? I hope BAC is going to have some decent premiums because sometimes it just does not. But we'll take a look and see. Are we going to have our first 9:30 meeting tomorrow? Yes, sir. First 9:30 meeting is tomorrow. 9:30 tomorrow. Yep. It's only a few hours away at this point. Not even a whole day away. It's a few hours away tomorrow. Okay, that'll be our first one. Hope nobody. I'll make sure to put the StreamYard up, but hope nobody's there at 8:30. Wondering where I'm at because some will be like, "What? Is she coming? Is she coming?" I'm like, yes, she is coming around the mountain. She'll be coming around the mountains when she comes. When she comes, she'll be coming around the mountain. Okay, what are we doing here? Let's go look at Exxon. BAC has 40.5 on the call side. I'll keep that up so that way I can go back to it. This is Exxon. I'm getting off the monthly chart. Let's go get on the daily. We'll see what Exxon did over the last few days. Okay, Exxon is boom, 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 boom. Are these my pivots? I need my pivots to be on. Yes, they are. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. Exxon is on the put credit spread list because it is bullish. It is bullish. So it's on the put credit spread list. I feel like this right here must be done. This is. Yes. Alrighty. But now it's on the put credit spread list. But do y'all see anything interesting right here? What do we see interesting right here on Exxon? PM, is that the stock you want me to look at, Ward? You want me to look? Because I'm talking about 9:30 in the morning. I don't know if PM is the stock you want me to look at. What do y'all see interesting right here on the XOM chart? Okay, PM is a stock you want to look at. I thought you were asking me, was I having a meeting at 9:30 p.m. on YouTube? Okay, I'll tell you, since nobody seems to be guessing it in the comments, it has come right into a very strong resistance area. Philip Morris, yep. Right into a very strong resistance area. So it hit this and pulled back. That's why we had this Friday of downwards movement. We do have support, though, back here in the 116 area. 115.95 or 116. Our put credit spread strike is 116. But it would behoove us. Jamie and Janae, y'all, the two of y'all are a mess. Okay, so it's coming to resist and it's pulled back. So you're going to want to make sure that you're careful here. Looks like there's support right here where this doji candle is. If I was putting it, yep, right here in the middle of 117, it's going to be some support right in this area. So I'm going to put it back on the candlesticks. Right in the 117 area, there will be some support. Okay, so this is what leads us to the 116, 115, 116 that we can do for our put credit spread. I know how to do this, but then I have forgotten. So now I've got to, oh no, I'm going to just go here. That'll work. That'll work for me. I actually wanted to be in the sim, but it doesn't look like that's where I am. XOM, let me make it bigger so everybody can see. Application settings, look and feel, very large, apply settings. This is XOM. When we look at the put credit spread, we want to find a probability out of the money for over 75%, and looks like 116 is it. 116, 115, we go to vertical, 115, 116. Market is closed, of course, but it shows that it's paying about $21 for 115, 116 for the put credit spread. All right. All righty. We can write us a little note here if we want. Put credit spread 115, 116. This is on the list, of course, so you didn't really need me to write this here. If you're on any of my social medias, well, maybe most of my social medias, you may have seen it. You may have seen this. Okay. All right. That was XOM. Let's go look at the trade desk. TTD. What do they do at the trade desk? Can somebody tell me? I mean, I know that it's trading related, but what do they do at the trade desk? Any thoughts? Well, they've had a huge monster move. Well, they had earnings. I was like, what was this candle here? They had earnings last week. Oh, those are weekly charts. That's what's going on. That might have been why XOM was looking like it was looking like. I need to go back to XOM now because I didn't want to be. I was like, why is this looking like this? Still let you know that support for 115, 116 on the weekly was a good support. This is what the daily looks like. This looks bad. Like, that didn't look like what I remembered. Didn't look like what I remembered. Okay, so this is XOM on the weekly. XOM on the daily chart. This is XOM on the daily chart. Okay, support is at 117.84, but I did tell you that we had 116. 115, 116 as our support. And it's still a good word. We still do, especially on the weekly chart. But now we're on the daily chart. All right. 115, 116, still a good place for your, put it up in here, put credit spread. We enter these put credit spreads, though, as price comes down a bit, hits that support, which we see is at 117.84. As it hits its support and rejects it, that's when you enter your put credit spreads, right? You want to make sure that you're getting good premiums, but the price has to be moving towards you a little bit in order to get that. Okay, the trade desk. The trade desk. We do have a gap down here. It's down a bit, but it is here nonetheless. Got a lot of sitting still in here. That's why this support resistance at support now is around 98.86, around 99, right? Going up. Now, TTD is on the put credit spread list because it's also showing as bullish, showing bullish movement. It is broken out of this resistance area. Yep, it closed above it. That's why we've got upwards movements, full time frame continuity, days, weeks, months, quarter, year, everything has TTD on the upwards ride. Full time frame continuity is a thing, right? It helps you determine the trend. You see our moving average is showing us that as well. I need the moving average that includes more than one line. I think this moving average came with came inside of one of these. I think it came inside of one of the indicators I already had. All right, so let's look at TTD for strikes. Nobody mentioned TTD, but I did, right? Looks like 98 would be over 75% probability out of the money. So 97, 98 would be a good put credit spread, could be a good put credit spread, 97, 98. Looks like it's paying $5. And no, we don't want to be in nothing that's only going to pay $5. So definitely you need to wait. Oh, the current price is a 101. It must have ran up some more after market. It had to run up some more because let's go back to that chart. Because I don't think I remember that chart being at 101. Yeah, it was. It is right there. Closed at 101. Honestly, the support is right here at 98, which is what I just said. But it's a good little bit away. Let's go see our plus minus number on TTD. Plus minus 3.5. So we take away from here. That puts you at 98. Yeah, well, listen, don't get any closer than 98 if you're going to trade to the trade desk. But of course, when the market opens, you're probably going to see different numbers, but you don't want to trade something that's $5. Okay. No, we're not doing that. But if you decide you want to look at it, then it may have better premiums. It should definitely have better premiums if you're going to enter it. Morgan Stanley. Okay. It should be there under Trio Max. I was pretty sure I put it there, but we're looking at Morgan Stanley, looking at the banks. When we chart gaps, we go and fill the entire gap. And then I usually go and put on another candle, another box that lets me know what part has not filled yet. I want to know what the full gap is, but I also want to know what part hasn't filled yet. That's why I do it that way. Of course, you need to do whatever is comfortable for you in your charting, but you want to identify the entire gap, not just the part that's left. But we did the full gap, and then what part has not been filled yet is right here, right? Gap from the close to the open. Actually, this isn't the full gap because the close to the open really would go higher. It would go here. The close of one candle, which is top here, to the open of the next candle, which would have been the top of this red because it opened here and then came down. So that's the entire gap. Looks like about 50% of that gap got filled. If I was to put on our my little, my quartiles, looks right at 50% of that gap got filled, and then price went on up the other way. All right, that's important information because then when it comes back through, it needs to come all the way back through there, or come on, there we go. It needs to come all the way through there, or it's going to probably bounce again at the 50% mark. 50% mark is where you can look for some support, and then you have to see what it's going to do after that. What will it do? Time frame continuity is to the upside, except for the month is showing red. The month is showing red on Morgan Stanley. Now, Morgan Stanley is showing up on the neutral list. There's a big old gap from back here early in August. Price action has filled most of it. There is that little T90 bit here that hadn't been filled. Is also, that's part of the gap that isn't filled, right? Nope, I need this. There we go. And I can bring this all the way back. This part of the gap has not been filled, even from this gap on August the 1st and 2nd. And even when it gapped over that, back over here on August the 14th and 15th, it is this part, this little darker part here has not been filled. Okay, that part has not been filled. Morgan Stanley in the neutral territory. And that is because we can see we've got support resistance up here. We've got resistance. That is called resistance, Arlissa, up here. Yes. And our support's going to be down here around this pivot point. Support one around this pivot. There's actually support at the bottom of this gap. There is support there. Nope, what are you doing? I want this. Okay, the bottom of that gap is going to provide some support as well. Okay. Are we hanging out in there? We are. If we want to go a little bit further, we can, because there's some more support here at 95. Our numbers are 99 and 104, though. 99 being down below this support line here. Let me get us a thing. Our put credit spread. No. Okay, put credit spread, 98, 99. And our call credit spread, 104, 105. That should be a 4. 104, 105. Right? Where'd the put credit spread go? Disappear. PCS, 98, 99. Okay, there we are with that. Let's go see what kind of money do we see on Morgan Stanley. 98.99 is going to pay $11. 98.99 pays $11. 104, 105 is paying another $12. So $23 total for the iron condor. Again, you'd want to enter them separately to make sure that price isn't going to go past your support and resistance areas without reversing. But you're looking at about $23 for the iron condor on Morgan Stanley. Let's go look at Oxy. Let's look at the Oxy chart. Oxy has some time frame continuity to the downside. Okay, we've got a gap here that it hit and went right on back down. This gap over here got filled. There was a gap here that got partially filled. Okay, I document the full gap, like I said, and then I put on another box that shows which part has not been filled. But it's only a little bit, because this only a chinchy bit. This is smaller than a chinite. Only the last little piece of this wick up here is what didn't get filled. That's a little bitty gap. Okay, but it's still there nonetheless, right? Still there nonetheless. But we do have this wick filled the gap that was here, but this box over here is the newly created gap between, actually this would be higher because the gap goes from close, which means this would have closed up here. Gap goes from close to open, and it would have opened here. So what's not filled of this gap is all of this. All of that is the gap fill there. All the darker part. Okay, that's what's not filled there. This dark piece here from about the top of this candle. So the high of this candle is 57.95. So from 57.95 all the way up to the close of this candle, which is 58.98. It's about a dollar, right? About a dollar. Alrighty, that's what we got for Oxy. Oxy is on the call credit spread list. Honestly, it's kind of been hanging in here, and you might, I'd be always looking for an iron condor, but you might be able to work an iron condor if you went outside the gap down to some support. Probably could do them both, but let's go to the option chain and see. It's on the call credit spread list. I want to go back and look real quick at something before I go there. I can see why it's on the call credit spread, but you all see that it's kind of got a triangle happening here. Let's go look at it. Let's show ourselves the trend line. Right, if we're looking here at this, we've got a falling wedge, and we've got a rising one coming right into here. So what do you do? What's it going to do? This is some serious consolidation that happened during this last day. It's just waiting to bust out. I feel like busting loose. I feel like busting loose. Okay, so let's see what we have as far as candle goes. This is a one candle. Oxy has a one candle. Y'all remember what a one candle is? The one candle means that it's between these two, the two of here, and it wants to break out. Don't. It wants to break out, not freak out. It wants to break out. Breaking out, going upwards is a call entry. This is for buying. Call entry. The high of this is 59.11. Call entry above 59.12. Can y'all see that? Nope, it got lost in the candle. Call entry above 59.12 and puts entry below the low of this candle, which is 56.64, 56.63. Okay. Now, time frame continuity shows it. This is the weekly chart. Time frame continuity shows it on the downwards move on the weekly chart, right? So you can then say, I see this, but I also want to look to see what is it doing on smaller time frames. What's it doing on a smaller time frame? So then we go back to the daily chart. You see, we do have some consolidation. Even on the daily chart, we have another one candle here, calls entry here, puts entry there, but we've got something even closer here that we may use as an entry point. This is a one. Okay. Calls entry above 57. What's this candle? The high is 57.85, 57.86. When it gets moving, it's going to move a bit. It's going to move a bit. And then puts entry below the low of this, which is 57. Let me move this. I'm right on the line. Puts entry below 57.26. I still like these, outside areas. The low of 56.61 is here. That's the bottom of this wick. And then if you're looking at resistance of 58.01, if you're going to do it as a seller. Okay, let's go look on our option chain. See what we see. Single oxy is actually a 59 call credit spread with the thought that it is still bearish. That's why it's on the call credit spread list. It's got a 50 period moving average showing that it's bearish. So let's look at the call credit spread side first. 59 on the call credit spread side has an 81% probability out of the money. And 56 on the put credit spread has an 85. It's a tight little range. 1.3 is the plus minus. But I say 56, but I think we're over here 59 first. 59 is paying $8. I'm not in love with that at this point. It would need to do a little bit more. And then 56 is another $6. I don't like it yet. It would have to provide more money. Wouldn't want you to do $14 in premiums. Because you're going to have to get tight. It's like 3. Now, as far as the plus minus number goes, you're in good space, but it's hard to borrow. You know, HTV sometimes mean that somebody's thinking it's going down still. When something gets bearish, they show it as hard to borrow. So that may lead you to more downwards movement, you know, incoming. Yeah, because it's already time frame continuity to the downside. Okay, maybe a thought there. Anybody got questions so far? Yes, number 1 does mean inside. Thank you, Tanya. Y'all be listening. I love it. All righty. Yesterday was Chuck Brown Day, was it? Didn't know that. All righty. So, BAC. When this is over, I still want to go look at SPY and Triple Q. I want to go look at the indices, IWM. I want to go look at those two. I had some sectors on my list I wanted to check out. I know Jamie would like to hear that because I see some sectors that are doing some stuff and see if there's some opportunities. Okay, this is BAC. Bank of America. Anytime I see BAC, my brain automatically goes to Bank of China because that's what it looked like there too. But it's not them. BAC is not Bank of China. Resistance here at 39.43. There was a monster. There was a monster gap. A monster gap. Looks like it's, for the most part, been filled, except for this little piece right here in the middle. Yep, there was a monster gap right here. And we still got some of it that's not filled yet, 38.81 to really 38.96, which is only about 20 points, 20%, sorry, about 20 cents. But it's there nonetheless. Don't be minimizing the gaps, Harlissa. They're still there. All gaps matter. Okay, so I have BAC on the call credit spread list because it's bearish. According to the 50 period moving average, it is bearish. But it's looking kind of, I can see the bearish, but I also can see the bullish because it's been bullish here. This is almost a daily chart. Okay. Now the 50 period moving average is looking at 50 days. So that could be why it's showing bearish over the 50-day period. This is the weeks. 50 days would be what, 10 weeks? We were to go back 10 weeks. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I don't know if I still would put it in the bearish category, but I see more of the little wedge thing happening again. Let's go back to the daily chart. Time frame continuity is also mixed. It's not real clear. Maybe that's why it's called, it showed up as bearish. I'm thinking maybe that's why it's neutral, but it's showing up as bearish. Let me see. What do I see for a resistance? I'm not liking this just yet. If y'all see something I'm missing, speak on up. The pivot point here is at 41.48. Not sure what I got this green line on here for. I think these are gap lines here, but I'm going to move them. The top of the gap provided support or will provide resistance. That could be why it's hit the top of this gap and it's rejected, but it's still kind of going up some. Could be bearish because on daily second to last candle, the green hammer, last candle turning. Yeah, that could be. I was just looking here to see that could definitely be it. But the bearishness, according to the watch list, is based on the 50 period moving average. So it's based on 50 days, not just the last couple, but you meant bullish. Yeah, I feel like in the short term, it's feeling kind of bullish, but it did come on into this resistance, but it went back to it again. So now the key is to see what it does coming out of here. Okay, but for the BAC, let's go look at it on the call credit spread side. We've got 59. Oh no, that ain't BAC. I was wondering how we got the exact same strikes. We'd go with 40.5 as 85% probability out of the money. And from a bullish standpoint, 76 would be 38.5. 38.5 vertical. 38.5, 38. I'm a fan of making these into a one spread. You know, it's a personal thing. Unless the 50 cent. Now, if the 50 cent trade has got like $12, $13, $15, I'm fine with 50 cent. I'm fine with a 50 cent for sure. So, but if it's only got a little bit, if I'm going to do it, I widen it to make it a full one spread to put in more premiums. So 38.5, 37.5 takes in $9 on that side. I'm not a fan. And then I said 40.5 was the other side, and 40.5, 41.5. $6. Yeah. I don't like Bank of America, Lisa. I'm not a fan of that one. It looks like you were taking about $15, $16. But what I don't like is it's showing up as a bearish. It's showing up as bearish, but this chart looks more bullish to me. 50 period moving average. I do see, maybe because it's been doing this and it's just maybe was bearish and then just pull back some and then to go down some more. That definitely could be it. If we put let's put a Fibonacci on it. So I'm going from the top to the bottom. No, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do, okay. I want you, baby. I want you, baby. From the top of this to the bottom, to the other side, to the bottom of to the low, from the high to the low. And then it has retraced back to almost a 50% mark inside of the Fibonacci. Now, usually the Fibonacci retraces back into the 32 or to the 68. So the question is would it go back up to the 68, which would put you around in here? And then go on down some more. Generally, if it's pulling back and just for a retrace, it'll retrace to the 30 something, which will be around the bottom of this gap. But sometimes it does go out to the 50% or to the 60 something and then go on down some more. But even when I look back at it, it's been kind of consolidating in this same area where it currently is. Now, what is the deal with, we're talking about banks, right? BAC is banks, and finance is, what's our finance looking like? Looking at the sector to see if the sector has movement. Okay, there we go. So the sector has some bullish movement, even though Bank of America is kind of seems to be lagging behind that a bit. Maybe Bank of America is the one that comes, kind of pulls up the rear. There's a gap there. Tiva says, I'd buy a straight call at 40 with how little you pay for that call. Yeah. For sure. For what you're going to pay. If you believe it's still bullish, and, of course, bullish means you got to buy it. You're going to have to buy it for a little more time because Bank of America is not going to do a lot of movement. We saw the plus minus number was 1, right? The plus minus number for the week is 1. So if you need to have a close price target, or you need to give it time. If it's only going to potentially move plus minus 1 in a week, where we're going. And the target here, if it's going up, the target's going to be right here at 44, and it's currently at 43. That's XLF. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong chart. Let me go back to BAC so we can see what that target would be. Looking at the wrong targets. If you were thinking it was going to go up some more, the next target would be the 39.65. And then from there, you got up to 41. So a couple dollars, but you're going to need at least 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Tiva, definitely buy time. This is not something Bank of America is not necessarily going to run. But if you wanted to do a buying of a call, if you just really wanted to trade Bank of America, you'd probably go out. I'd go out probably to the next OPEX date, maybe the next OPEX date. I'm not a fan of buying a whole lot of time, to be honest, but if it's going to move up there, it says plus minus 2. If you want to buy a call at the money, is only $67. A little bit out of the money is 35. So you're not going to spend a lot of money on it, but you're probably going up, like I said, to about 44. So 42, I think I said 40, right? 41.50. So a couple dollars is your target. Take you 3 or 4 weeks. Well, maybe 2 weeks to get there. Okay. Bank of America. Yeah, I'm not in love with that at this point. Let's go look at our indices. This is SPY. Good old SPY. Got a gap that has now been created. A few gaps down here that are not filled. This gap, we're on the daily. Yeah, we're on the daily. Where did I get this gap from? Maybe it was there before this actually filled. But it did now with that price action from this day here from August 14th. That price action filled it. We have a gap here from Wednesday to Thursday. This gap. Resistance was at 552. It blazed on through there and closed above it. Next set of resistance is at 554, which is where it closed. That's not super strong. Time frame continuity to the upside. So it still may have some juice. Still has some juice. We've got resistance there. We've got another gap here that needs to fill. I feel like I've just looked at this chart. I think I did. Maybe I looked at SPX because they look the same. Okay. Top of that gap is going to, actually 50% mark and the top of that gap are going to provide resistance as well. Still bullish. Still bullish on SPY until otherwise. Blew past the pivot point, going up to the next one. Resistance here at 564 is our next target, next pivot point. This gap is going to offer some slowdown. Slow it down. Ooh, watch out. You're going to lose control. I know those are different words. I'm just singing my own. Y'all know me. Make up the song as you go. I rewrite the lyrics. I don't make up the songs. I rewrite the lyrics. This chart looks like the other one. One of these things is just like the other one. No shock there. Now I want to look at IWM too. IWM been trying to do a little bit, even though IWM will sit in a channel and not do merch, right? It will do just that. IWM. That's a resistance. That's a resistance. And there's another one. And another one. And another one. The gap here is not fully filled. It looks like it's about 50% filled. We would go out all the way. I'm going all the way. Another gap was created here. This one's filled. Delete. 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 From Wednesday to Thursday, another gap was created, and part of that was filled. Though I'm going to pull this off just so I can know that that's there. So it's filling this little doji thing from back here. Bullish, potentially in the short term. Moving average has turned back up. Support, top of this gap, 209. It's got more of this gap to fill at this point. It closed right at the 25% mark. Time frame continuity is kind of mixed with month being downwards. Yeah, somebody's still pushing it because they pushing to move your money over there for sure into small caps, get out the big caps. But folks still interested in NVIDIA and AMD and Apple and all the big boys. People still interested over there. Tesla. So it's hard to pull folks away from places where they're interested. And there is indeed interest in those areas. Okay, let's look at some sectors I had. XLB. XLB is the... Jamie, you're up. You're up. Do you want to talk tech stuff today or you want to talk tech stuff tomorrow? You can tell me in the comments. XLB is, I can't see it. Materials. XLB is materials. This chart looks about like the one we just looked at. Looks like IWM. Looks like I just changed. Well, they all kind of look like this after the other day. What's some key things in the XLB area? Materials, probably steel, plastics, stuff like that. Maybe this and kind of in the industrials. XLB is materials, okay. Also known as building materials, like housing starts and housing material type of things. Cement, concrete, all those kinds of things. It's XLB. XLB is got an inside going. There's a one here, but it's a one looking like a hammer. One looking like a hammer. Top of this gap. What do we do with the hammer? Calls entry above 90.64. Calls entry above 90.64. If you wanted to go down into this entry, puts entry there, I would watch how it does when it gets into that gap. That's so weird that it does that. I see what's happening now though. Puts entry below 89.89. That's the way we spell below. Y'all see that? The keyboard's not keeping up with the speed of my typing. Above 90.64. XLB or materials, I think there's a little more upside, especially but you'd want to see what it does when it gets to this gap too. But if it was to get into the gap, that could be a nice little ride through it. Nice little ride through that gap. And it actually could be a decent little ride through this one. Okay. The gap up here goes from 90.76 up to 91.76, so about $1. The gap down here goes from 89.27 up to about 89.90, so a little less than about 75 cents down here, about $1 up here on this gap. I know that sectors don't tend to move super fast. XLB, last I checked, the biggest holdings were Linda, LIN, SHW, Sherman-Williams, but DOW, which is the Dow brands, not industrial average, and DuPont are in there as well. Okay. XLB was one I was looking at. Looks like they might want some more upside in XLB. XLC. XLC, Communications, $85 to $86 stock. Communication sector also looking very bullish. In my opinion, short term, it's dropped down and filled this gap. Everything seemed to have this same drop of those 2 days and then went to fill the gaps. This gap here is filled. This gap here is filled. These both, which were created, are filled also at this point. Okay. Now, what I do see is a monster up there. Strong resistance at 87.58, and we're currently at 86.26. Currently at 86.26. What kind of stuff is in the communication sector? T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon. Is that the kind of stuff that's in the communication sector? Oh, we didn't see the Forex. Thank you, Janae. We didn't see that. I have it up here. We need to look at it. Thanks for bringing that up, because we have not looked at it just yet. I definitely want to talk about the fact that we got FOMC stuff happening all week. So I definitely didn't need to forget that. We got FOMC stuff this week. A little gap here too. This is XLF we're looking at right now. Trying to see what I see. Doji was here, 2 up. I need a 2-week. There we go. Give me a 2-week candle. 2-week candle. Okay. Looks bullish, but we're coming into resistance pretty hot and heavy, 43.95. So we would need to see what is it going to do at the top of this zone, which is like 44.10. What's it going to do here in order to keep it moving? Or will it hit there and come right on back? This was a pretty good rejection back here. Pretty good rejection back in July. And it also touched this area earlier in July. So it's been touched a couple of times. See what it does when it gets there. Maybe a good call credit spread opportunity if it comes on back down. Otherwise, it goes over and rejects, and you can let it go a little higher. XLF is one to keep an eye on. Last sector I'm looking at is XLI. XLI is industrials. Industrials. Jamie, who's the major players in industrials? XLI. This is probably the biggest one here. This is liquidity up here, though. It's a lot of liquidity up here that need to be, that's going to want to be grabbed. Well, this is, liquidity is like gasoline. Liquidity is like gasoline. Is that the cup and handle? This could be. I think usually the cup and handle, the cup and the handle, I thought the handle really makes it go the other way, but maybe you're calling this the cup and handle. I don't know enough about that chart pattern. Jamie does. Jamie may know some, may have an input. The other chart looked the same too. It did. Almost a lot of the charts are looking like this because of this gap down and then this run back up. We've seen this a lot. Several charts I've looked at have had the same look to them. Support is in here. I think that is, yep, there was something in here too. Around 123. Industrials. Coming into resistance. Top of this is 129. Bottom of it really would be like 128 and some change. Support's going to be this gap. Basically, there's so many charts, like you were saying earlier, Janae, a lot of these charts are basically a wait and see what happens, or traded on the time frames that are short enough time frames. Jamie says XLI got the big dogs: GE, Caterpillar, Honeywell, John Deere. Oh, a bunch of these had earnings the other day. Boeing. Leave Boeing alone. Leave Boeing alone. Okay, so this is our FOMC. This is our Forex for the week. Forex for the week. Monday. Tomorrow, we're going to have Waller is speaking at 9:15 before the market opens. 10 o'clock, we have CB leading index month over month. Tuesday, we've got two FOMC members are speaking. Bostic and Barr are speaking at 1:35 and 2:45. On Wednesday, we've got crude oil inventories, FOMC meeting minutes. This, of course, is the big one. Ding, ding, ding. They should really put two red folders on these days because one red folder doesn't quite get it. Needs to be two red folders. Okay. Wednesday, August the 21st at 2 o'clock as FOMC meeting minutes. And then Thursday, the 22nd, we got unemployment claims, flash manufacturing PMI, flash services PMI, existing home sales. Those are all when the market opens. Jackson Hole Symposium, natural gas storage. Friday, we've got Powell speaking Friday morning at 10 a.m. If Fridays aren't crazy enough, Powell's going to speak first thing in the morning. New home sales at 10 o'clock also, and the Jackson Hole Symposium will still be going on day 2, and Saturday it will be going as well. Wonder why on Friday the Jackson Hole Symposium gets a red folder, and I wonder if it's because Powell may speak. Let's see what it says here. Why is it getting a red folder on Friday but not on Thursday or Saturday? Of course, Saturday we kind of don't care because the market's closed. Central bankers create significant, okay. The central bankers are there. But it shows an orange folder that first day, but second day it shows a red folder, then it goes back to being orange. Orange. Okay, so yes, this week is going to have some more pitfalls in it, or some, landmines, as Jamie calls them. Going to have landmines this week as well. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. For sure, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. All right? So we want to be mindful of those. If you're looking for some E2T freebies, basically the free trading resources, free resources for traders, right? You can go to E2T-freebies, E2T-freebies.com for the free trading resources. That includes access to my Facebook group, the Telegram group. There's several different downloadable things. There's a 0 DTE cheat sheet, a charting cheat sheet. There's several different things there that you can go and avail yourselves of while you're there. I'm not sure why this is looking like this. I went over to the Instagram screen. It's looking kind of janky. Not sure what that's all about. Okay, there's that. If you got something else we need to discuss, y'all go ahead and bring it up. Let's go back one more time to the Options 411 Challenge. Options 411 Challenge is open for registration now, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 7 o'clock each evening. We're doing that Options 411 3-day challenge. This is what's included. All the broker stuff, all the beginning stuff. We'll talk about charting. We'll talk about your brokering. We'll talk about strategies. We'll talk about all those things in this 3-day challenge. And we'll be sure to provide you with some trades that you can work on to pull in some money. You can make enough money off your trades to pay for the cost of the challenge. And if you bring other people, you suggest other people come, and they do come based on your suggestion, I give you $20 from their membership. I pay you from their membership. That's a good deal, huh? I think it is. All righty. Do we have anything else? Let me make sure there's nothing else I wanted to say here before I jump out, and then I'm like, oh, I should have said so and so. That happens to me regularly. Just a refresher about the morning call being at, morning call being at 9:30 starting tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, our morning call will be at 9:30 live on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. If you're one who's in the learning mode and you're starting to learn some things, or you want to know what is the route you should take to learn this material, your first step, if you're a beginner, should be Options 411. Right? Options 411, the 3-day challenge. Then you're going to make sure that you're cool on charting. Start with thechart.com as a free webinar. Trading strategies for you will help you determine what is a good strategy for your life, your personality, all the good things. And then once you know a strategy to work on, then you can go to lean in and learn more about that particular strategy. Okay? Everything here can be found at educatortotrader.com. Okay, everyone. We've been here about an hour and a half. I believe this week in the market, again, is going to have some landmines. For a seller, these volatile times, like when the FOMC is speaking and stuff like that, those times don't work up real good for sellers. So this is why when you see your profits, you ought to take your profits. Arlissa, when you see profits, you take profits, okay? When your trade is ready to close, you close it. All right. We do have a training on my website too for debit spreads. So when you see opportunities that are trending one way or the other, then you can get in on that with debit spreads. You can go right to my website and get the debit spreads training, and it's great for trending markets, right? It's great for trending markets. You can, bounce back and forth between credit spreads and debit spreads. They're not exactly the same. One is a buying strategy, one is a selling strategy. They do have different nuances. But if you learn spreads, you learn credit spreads, and you learn debit spreads, you don't need to learn nothing else. You learn those two. The good thing about debit spreads is theta doesn't fight with you, because the two contracts basically nullify theta. So you don't have to fight theta anywhere near as much as if you just buy a straight call or a straight put. All right. That was my little tidbit. All righty, everybody. We're going to do two things. I believe Jamie is having, you still didn't mention it. Jamie is having Cash Flow 101. Cash Flow 101 is going to start at 7 o'clock. I was trying to go find the picture. Cash Flow 101 is starting at 7 o'clock. Jim, if you want to put the link in the chat, you can. It's open to anybody who wants to come and play Cash Flow 101. That's basically the Robert Kiyosaki game of how to get out of the rat race. Let me see if I can pull it up here and bring it over to the chat. Bring it over to the dark side. There we go. And we need to put it back onto turn on the screen. There we go. So listen, this is a pretty nice graphic. Sunday, August the 18th, which is today. Are you game? Cash Flow 101, Sunday, August 18th at 7. The financial education board game, Escape the Rat Race. You can play, you can create your own free profile on richdad.com. There's a Zoom meeting here with the passcode. If you want to join, Cash Flow 101, you just hop in. Jamie, I don't know, I guess he's still here. I don't see a link popping up just yet, but I think y'all listen, you all hear a little bit after I've said stuff, so maybe it's coming. I will do some classes on debit spreads again, Marcia. I did teach that lesson that you have, that training that is available was taught by me. So and it hasn't been that long. I updated that debit spreads training maybe a month and a half ago. It wasn't very long ago that I updated that training. So it's still fresh. It's fresh. Hot bread. All right. Hot bread. But I probably will teach it again though. But the training is available. Okay. Cash Flow 101. If you're in our communities, any of my Telegram groups, you should be able to see the link to join Cash Flow 101. We may even try to put it on my YouTube page. So anybody who wants to play at 7 o'clock can join in and play. Let me see. I might be able to grab the link myself. Yep, looks like I can. Control C. Yeah, YouTube does jumble it all up because it doesn't like you to put lines. I mean, to put like spaces between it. But if you look in the comments, it's there. All righty, it's there now. If you're interested in joining Cash Flow 101, you got a Zoom link. That's there. The meeting ID. I think you can click the link. It should still take you where you need to go. What I do sometimes when I'm working with it on here is I put spaces between here. Like, okay, let me see if I can do it one more time. And it should maybe break up the jumbles. Yeah, there we go. It should look better now. That extra period in the middle breaks it up a bit so you can see where the dividing lines are. Okay, Cash Flow 101 in 30 minutes, or actually 25 minutes. All righty. I want you to do two things. I want you to do actually multiple things. I want you to like. I want you to subscribe. I want you to tell people about the channel. I want you to follow me on all the social media places. I want you to join our Telegram group. I want you to join our Facebook group if you want to. And I want you to stay green and get this money. All right. I will see you all later. Goodbye, everyone. Everybody have a really good night. See you in the morning, 9:30. All right. Goodbye, everybody.